Hey guys, tonight we're wandering somewhere wild, somewhere the air tastes like frost and pine, and the only sound is the low sigh of your breath rising toward a full silver moon. You're standing alone in a forest that doesn't seem to end, and somewhere between the shifting shadows, something ancient is watching you back. You probably won't survive this if you move too fast, but that's kind of the point, right? So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe FantasyGleam, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Tell me where you're listening from and what time it is for you right now. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. The snow lies thick tonight, each flake a whisper falling from the moon's own breath. You trudge through it on silent pause. Yes, pause, because in this story, you are not human. Your fur glows faintly under the cold light, and your muscles hum with the wild rhythm of hunger, of belonging, of something old. The forest is a cathedral of white, and the moon is its god. You tilt your head up, gaze into her wide, endless face, and feel her watching back. It's said that wolves howl not just to find one another, but to speak to her, the moon, the eternal listener. You never believed that until tonight. A sound cuts through the silence, not a branch breaking, not the cry of prey. It's softer, like a word caught between the wind and your ear. Your name, impossible, but it happens again, drifting down like a sigh. Come closer. You freeze. Wolves don't hear words. Wolves don't imagine voices, but you move anyway. You weave through frost-heavy ferns, paws sinking into the snow's crust. The trees thin until you find a clearing, a circle of untouched ice that mirrors the sky. And there she is. Not the moon above, but her reflection below. Vast, perfect, shimmering. You lower your muzzle to it, breath fogging the surface. Her voice rises from the reflection, calm and silver, older than stars. You remember me, she says, and you feel her light flicker across your fur. You were once my shadow. Your heart pounds, if wolves even think of hearts. Something tugs at you, deep in the ribs, as if the light itself wants you closer. You lift your head and howl, a long, trembling sound that starts low in your chest and climbs until it brushes the edges of heaven. For a moment, the trees lean in. Even the wind seems to listen. Historians still argue whether ancient people worshipped the moon as a goddess or simply admired her as a guide. In Babylon, records show priests mapping her phases like heartbeats. And yet, in some remote tribes of Siberia, they told of wolves being her first messengers, creatures who carried prayers in their voices when humans still feared the night. Funny thing, right? Maybe that's why your howl feels familiar, like you're reenacting something that began long before you. The moon's glow pulses once, twice. You're not meant to be alone, she murmurs. But to walk with me, you must remember what loyalty means. A cold gust cuts through the clearing. Your fur rises and your reflection ripples. You sense her fading, but not gone. A promise lingers, thin as silver smoke. You'll find her again when the forest whispers back. You turn, ears pricked, and vanish into the pines. Behind you, the reflection still glows, a gate waiting to reopen. Above, the moon watches, her face unreadable. Some say wolves were first domesticated nearly 30,000 years ago, but the truth is messier. Bones blur, timelines tangle. Maybe the first pact wasn't between humans and beasts, but between a lonely spirit and the sky. You pad on through the dark, carrying that thought like a spark beneath your ribs. The night hums with something ancient, something half-remembered. And somewhere far above, the moon hums back. The forest wakes differently now. You can feel it, roots twitching under the frost, ravens pausing mid-flight, even the snow hesitating before it lands. The moon's voice still echoes in your mind, like the lingering taste of smoke. Remember what loyalty means. You try to shake it off, but it clings to you as if every breath you take rewrites the pact she whispered beneath the pines. You follow her pull deeper into the trees, moving through corridors of blue-white silence. Your paws press through thin ice, leaving faint prints that steam faintly under her light. Wolves aren't supposed to feel destiny, just hunger, scent, and cold. But something bigger is guiding you now, somewhere between instinct and dream. You sense that this journey isn't about survival. It's about promise. You find the river frozen in mid-motion, like time itself forgot to keep flowing. Its surface gleams like glass, and beneath it, shapes shift, ghost fish, ancient ripples, or maybe fragments of memory. You crouch low, muzzle brushing the ice. The moon's reflection shivers once more, and you swear you see her smile. Loyalty, she whispers again, is not obedience. It's remembrance. That line sits strange in your chest. Loyalty, remembrance. You think of your pack, the old alpha who taught you to fight, to hunt, to never look back. You think of the young one you lost last winter, his paw caught in a hunter's trap. You think of how the moonlight fell over his body that night, pale and forgiving. Maybe this is why she called you. Maybe she remembers him too. You lift your eyes to the tree line. The pines are tall as cathedrals, their branches heavy with snow, their shadows like ribs enclosing the world. You walk beneath them, feeling the rhythm of the forest settle around you, the hoot of an owl, the soft crunch of your weight, the faint hiss of distant water. You realize you're being watched. Wolves are never truly alone. You catch the scent first, musk, pine, and familiarity. Then you see them, 3 shadows sliding between the trees, your pack, or what's left of it. They move like smoke, eyes gleaming like shards of starlight. You growl softly, a greeting, not a threat. The largest one steps forward, ears flattened, and nudges your shoulder. His name was Fen once. You remember the old days when you hunted side by side. But now his eyes hold something colder. Where did you go? They seem to ask. Who do you follow? You look up at the sky where the moon sits fat and full, and for the first time, you feel guilty under her gaze. You move with them again that night, old instincts returning. You chase the scent of deer, your body remembering the dance of pursuit. Snow sprays in silver arcs, breath steams in the air. But when the kill comes, when your teeth should meet flesh, you hesitate. The moonlight falls on the animal's eyes, and for a heartbeat, you see your reflection there. You can't do it. You back away, panting. Fen snarls, confused. The others circle closer, hackles up. The pack is balance, always has been. If you don't share the hunt, you break the order. Historians still argue whether wolves learned cooperation from humans, or if humans learned it from wolves. Evidence from Cataluyuk, one of humanity's oldest cities, shows painted wolves beside hunters, symbols of both fear and partnership. But some fringe scholars believe the wolves guided us, not the other way around, that they taught us how to belong. You lower your head, feeling that idea crawl through your bones. Maybe loyalty isn't to the pack or to the moon, but to something deeper, the wild itself, the spirit that threads through both. You lift your gaze, and in that moment, the moon flares brighter, as if she's answering your thought. Your pack follows your stare. Fen growls once more, then turns away, leading them into the shadows. You remain alone, but not lost. Above, the moon hums like a heartbeat. Beneath your paws, the earth feels alive again. The pact beneath the pines is growing roots. You tilt your head and whisper, not a howl this time, but words no wolf should know. I remember. The forest shivers in reply. Somewhere far off, an ancient drumbeat stirs beneath the snow, something waking that's been silent for centuries. And still, she watches. The hunger returns on the third night, sharp, bone-deep, and uncaring of moonlight or memory. Your body aches for the chase, but your spirit trembles with something else. Balance. You remember her whisper. Loyalty is remembrance. And yet, loyalty has a taste tonight, a scent, a pulse. You stalk through the pale underbrush, breath clouding before your muzzle, paws whispering against the snow. Every sound feels magnified. The crunch of ice, the groan of frozen bark, the hiss of wind curling between the trees. It's as if the forest itself is holding its breath, waiting to see what you'll choose. You catch the scent first, dear, faint and distant, trailing like a ghost downwind. Instinct wakes like a spark in your gut. Your muscles tighten. The moon peers between the pines, soft and pale, almost pitying. She knows. She always knows. You lower your body, each movement fluid and silent. The forest stretches before you like a riddle, branches clawing at the stars, shadows twisting into shapes that feel almost human. You remember when the hunt was simple, when loyalty meant survival, when you didn't have to think about what it meant to be both a beast and something more. Your paws crunch once too loud. The deer's ears flick, and in a blink, it bolts. You surge forward, lungs burning, snow exploding around you in silver plumes. The world narrows to breath and speed. But halfway through the chase, you feel it again. Her voice, like moonlight tripping through your skull. Balance, she murmurs. Not hunger, not mercy. Both, you stumble. The deer vanishes into the trees. Silence floods back in, thick and endless. You collapse in the snow, panting, the world spinning in pale circles. The moon hangs directly overhead, bright as judgment. Once, ancient Greeks believed the full moon drove men to madness. Lunacy, they called it, from Luna. Modern science rolls its eyes, of course, but you have to wonder. Because right now, lying in this frozen clearing, staring up at that luminous coin, you feel a kind of madness. A pull towards something beyond logic, beyond instinct. A longing to belong to both earth and sky. You roll onto your side and notice tracks beside yours, human, barefoot, delicate. Impossible in this cold. You follow them, each step crunching like a heartbeat in the snow. The tracks lead to the edge of a frozen lake, vast and gleaming under the moonlight. There, standing in the center, is her reflection again. But now she's more than light. She's form, outline, movement. A woman made of silver smoke, hair flowing like water, eyes pale and endless. You're torn, she says softly, between the pact that left you and the promise you made to me. You circle her slowly, hackles raised, not in threat, but in awe. I didn't know what I was promising, you whisper, though no human tongue should shape those sounds. She kneels, touching the surface of the ice, and it shimmers. Beneath it, the world seems alive, rivers of light flowing like veins through the earth. Loyalty isn't about knowing, she says. It's about staying when everything tells you to run. You want to argue, to snarl, to say that wolves don't stay. But the truth freezes on your tongue. Somewhere in the distance, your pack howls. It's a warning, or maybe a farewell. Their voices thread through the air like arrows, piercing the night. You turn your head toward the sound, then back to her. Historians still argue whether the Norse saw wolves as monsters or messengers. Fenrir, the wolf destined to devour the sun, was both feared and revered. But some texts hint at another story, one where Fenrir's howl was not destruction, but grief. A plea to the heavens for balance undone. You look at her again, at the spirit who wears the moon's face. If I follow you, you say, I'll lose them forever. Her eyes soften. Only if you forget them. You step closer. The ice creaks beneath your paws, thin as paper. Her light touches your fur, seeps into your skin, and for a heartbeat, you see everything: the pack, the moon, the endless forest, all threads of one breath. You understand then, loyalty isn't a chain, It's a bridge. You throw back your head and howl, not for the hunt or the pack, but for the fragile line between them, the balance that keeps the world whole. The sound rises, echoing across the frozen lake, shattering the stillness. Above, clouds drift aside, and the moon shines unbroken. Your reflection fades. Her image melts into the water, but her whisper lingers. When the sky goes dark, find me again. And in that moment, you know, something is coming. The next night, the world tilts. The snow feels heavier, the sky thicker, and the moon, your moon, bleeds into shadow. An eclipse has begun. You stand on a ridge, chest heaving, watching her light dim like a dying ember. Every instinct in you rebels. Wolves are born to howl to her brilliance, not her absence. But the voice inside you, the one she left behind, whispers, this is the test. Below you, the forest is silent. Not the peaceful kind of silence, but the holding breath kind, the kind that waits for something to go wrong. Even the wind is afraid to move. You glance down the slope where your pack's tracks weave through the drifts. They've returned. You smell them long before you see them. Fen and the others, their scent thick with fear and confusion. They don't understand what's happening in the sky. When they finally appear, their eyes glow amber against the darkness. Fen steps forward, lips curled but not in hostility. In his gaze, you read a question. Have you brought this? You want to say no, to bark, to prove you're still one of them. But even as the thought forms, your fur catches the dim red of the eclipse. The moon's light stains you. You've been marked. The pack senses it. They circle you, tense, uncertain. Loyalty in wolves is simple. Either you lead or you follow. Tonight, you do neither. You stand between them and the sky, between the animal and the divine. The air hums, and suddenly, she's there again. Not as a reflection this time, but as a shimmer in the red darkness. Half light, half voice. The moon spirit stands at the edge of the ridge, her hair a stream of shifting silver, her eyes mirrors of that fading glow. The pack bristles, but you know she's not here for them. Your choice, she murmurs, voice soft as snow on fur. Do you guard the earth that bore you, or the light that calls you? You step forward, torn clean down the middle. Behind you, Fen growls a warning. Ahead of you, her light pulses faintly, fragile under the shadow of the earth. You remember her promise. When the sky goes dark, find me again. Funny how eclipses used to terrify entire civilizations. The Aztecs thought the world was ending each time. Chinese astronomers recorded dragons swallowing the moon. Historians still argue whether these myths came from fear or reverence. Either way, everyone watched the same sky and felt the same helpless awe you feel now. The idea that something so constant could disappear, even for a moment, unraveled them. Maybe that's the point. Maybe loyalty only means something when tested by loss. The ground trembles. A gust of frigid wind tears through the ridge, scattering snow like ash. The moon's face is almost completely gone now, leaving only a red halo trembling on the horizon. Fen lunges, snarling. He thinks you've betrayed the pack. You dodge, heart thundering. Another wolf snaps at your flank. You leap back, but your paws slip on the ice. You land hard, breath exploding from your chest. The moon spirit steps closer, her glow flickering. They'll never understand, she says. They don't have to. You rasp. I do. And with that, you lift your head and howl. Not a plea, not a cry for help, but a bridge. The sound cuts through the storm, through the blood-red dark, reaching for her fading light. The pack freezes mid-motion, confused. The shadow trembles. For a heartbeat, it feels like the world holds still. She raises her hand, if you can call it a hand, and light flows from her into your howl. It shoots up into the night, slicing the darkness like a blade. The eclipse pauses, flickers, and for a breath, You see both worlds, the dark and the light, balanced perfectly. Then, it's gone. The moon returns, pale and trembling, like a candle relit after wind. The forest exhales. The wolves lower their heads. The danger passes, but something in you doesn't return. You've given a piece of yourself to her. The pack approaches slowly. Fenn's eyes soften. He doesn't understand, but he knows enough to bow his head. The others follow, forming a quiet ring around you. No words, no sounds, just acceptance. The balance holds. A fringe legend from the Sami people once said that wolves guarded the moon during eclipses, chasing away the spirits that tried to devour her. Maybe that's what you did. Maybe that's what loyalty really is, standing guard when no one else dares to. You lift your muzzle once more. The moon glows steady again, but her light feels different now. Warmer, a little closer. She whispers your name, this time not as command, but as thanks. And when dawn finally touches the peaks, you realize you've become something in between. Not wolf, not spirit. Just the bridge she spoke of. The forest wakes softer after the eclipse. Snow falls slow and lazy, the air rinsed clean, every branch glittering like spun glass. You move through it quietly, no longer hunting, no longer hunted. Every paw print you leave glows faintly before fading in afterimage, proof that the world remembers you even when you're gone. The pack has drifted away, back to the rhythm of fang and frost, back to what wolves are meant to be. You feel no sorrow in that. Loyalty doesn't mean forever. It means true while it lasts. You've learned that from her. The moon spirit watches above. No longer a whisper, but a constant hum somewhere in your bones. You climb toward the high ridge again, where the trees thin and the world opens into nothing but sky. From here, you can see the valley below, the frozen river winding like a pale scar, the distant smoke of hunters' fires, the faint shimmer where moonlight touches water. The same world as before, but it feels different now, as if you're looking at it through her eyes. You pause. A soft wind brushes through your fur. Carrying her voice, you balance the dark, now guard the light. It feels less like an order and more like a farewell. You tilt your head toward the moon, bright again and full, and you remember the first night, the reflection in the ice, her voice calling you shadow. Maybe that's what you've always been, her echo cast upon the earth. Wolves, after all, were never meant to worship the moon. They were meant to remind it of its reflection. Your breath curls upward in faint ribbons, mingling with the cold. You close your eyes and listen to the heartbeat of the forest, to the far-off crack of shifting ice, to the pulse that moves between earth and sky. Everything hums with the same rhythm. It's funny, humans once believed wolves howled to summon the moon. Now, scientists say it's just communication, a way to find one another across distance. But maybe both are true. Maybe when you howl, you do reach her, and maybe she answers in tides and dreams. Historians still argue whether that belief began as myth or memory, but out here, it feels like truth. You step closer to the edge. The moon hangs enormous, silver bleeding into blue, soft enough to touch. You take a breath, filling your lungs with air so cold it burns sweetly. And you whisper, "I'm still here." The wind answers with her voice, "And I'm still watching." A peace settles through you, not the restless kind that waits for another test, but the steady kind that hums at the end of all journeys. You understand now what she meant about balance. Without hunger, there's no mercy. Without night, no dawn. Without loyalty, no freedom. The wolf and the moon are not opposites. They re-reflections of the same longing, to be seen, to be remembered. You lift your head and howl, not a cry this time, but a song, long, low, full of everything you've learned. It rises past the trees, curls through the clouds, and touches the moon like a soft hand. For a heartbeat, she glows brighter, answering your sound with light. And just like that, The world feels whole again. The howl fades. The night sighs. You lie down on the ridge, snow gathering gently along your flank, and let your eyes close. The moon stays above, guardian and friend, her silver face steady against the black. Somewhere far below, the pack howls too, their voices weaving into yours until it's impossible to tell where one ends and another begins. Balance restored, spirit remembered. And when dawn finally brushes the sky in faint gold, the moon lingers a little longer than usual, just enough to say goodbye. You breathe out once, and your breath joins the morning. The bridge between worlds holds, quiet and eternal. The night softens now. The edges blur, the cold recedes, and even the moon seems to exhale with you. Everything slows, your heartbeat, your breath, the restless whisper in your mind. You feel the snow melting beneath you, warm where it shouldn't be. A quiet promise that everything you've given will circle back someday. You think of her, of the light that guided you, tested you, forgave you. The bond between you hums like the last chord of a fading song, low and endless. The forest no longer feels like wilderness. It feels like belonging. The silence is no longer emptiness, it's peace. The moon hangs high, patient and calm, her glow softened to milk and memory. You understand finally that she was never far away. She was inside every howl, every breath, every heartbeat. The world doesn't lose its magic when you stop searching for it. It simply waits for you to notice it again. You stretch, body heavy and content. The snow hushes around you, the wind gentles, and the stars blink slower now, as if they too are easing into sleep. Somewhere in the distance, another wolf howls, low and sweet. You don't answer. You don't have to. The message is already in the air, threaded between breaths. So breathe. Let the forest fade. Let the moonlight settle against your skin like a blanket. You've done your part. You've held the balance. The night forgives. The world turns. And the moon keeps watch. Sleep well, wolf of the silver light. The sky remembers you. End of script. Sweet dreams.